I have declared this a Golden Ox production!
Welcome, one and all, to Network Special! Notice I said one and all and not ladies and gentlemen, because even though I'm an 88-year-old ringmaster, I can evolve with the times! And you're watching or listening, ha ha ha, I got stuck in my old ringmaster way there! Network Special! Yeah, thanks a lot, Mr. Ringmaster. That was great. Wow, what an appropriate way to kick off Network Special, the podcast about appointment era television. And we're talking about TV. You used to have to sit down and watch whenever it was on, but now thanks to the magic of the internet, we can watch it again and again whenever we want to. We're a nation of gluttons, and that's how we like it. My name is Zachariah Durr, and I'm here with my co-host,
Nathan Cheer.
And of course, the paterfamilias of the Golden Ox Podcast Network. Our producer, who is that?
Jeremy Demery. What it do?
Jeremy Demery. One of the best parts is hearing him lunge for the microphone in the other room whenever I mention his little...
Oh, what? I'm supposed to drop all of my responsibilities just to say my own name?
That's right. That's right. That's how much we love you here.
From Universal Studios Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, presenting the 13th annual Circus of the Stars.
Now, hey, I paid that ringmaster $1,000 to do that introduction.
$1K.
Which may seem like a lot, but I think it's worth it because it fits in with the theme this week. We are watching Circus of the Stars, which aired mostly on CBS for 19 years running between 1977 and 1994. Don't worry, we're not going to be talking about all 19 episodes.
No, we're going to do a 19-episode series.
That's right. Buckle up. Circus of the Stars is exactly what it sounds like. It is kind of B or C level, mostly network stars. Sometimes there's some stand-up comedians and various other types of actors.
A lot of co-stars.
A lot of co-stars, a lot of young stars.
Emphasis on the co.
Who learned circus acts. They would get trained in a specific circus act for 3 to 4 weeks and then show off their skills on this special. And there was always a rotating cast, of course. It wouldn't be the same people for every single year. There were ringmasters.
Although in the two that we watched, there were some repeats. There's a little tidbit for you. Sorry,
sometimes I'm worried I'm going to get all the way through a sentence.
It's hard when you're miles
anal retentive.
When you're 100 miles apart, when your hearts are so far. I have to interject with these important bits of info.
It's true. You're in Florida. I'm in Ohio. It's only our hearts that are together. But it's all the classic circus acts, Nathan. You've got acrobats, big cats, trapeze, tightrope, all the staples of the circus that you're sick of seeing because it's an archaic form of entertainment.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about 2 different years. We're going to be talking about 1988 and 1990 because I was watching one of these Circus of the Stars and saying, we could go through this one by one. And then I was like, is this the best year to watch? I watched another one. And then I realized, it's basically the same acts every single year with different groups. And then there's a couple standalone acts. So why don't we do this? Let's have 2 episodes of Circus of the Stars picked at random. And we are going to treat this like Battle of the Network Stars, a show I have not seen, but we should do on this show at some point because it is a TV reference.
Yeah.
We are going to pit these acts against each other. The stars from 1988 and the stars from 1990. And Nathan and I are going to vote on who did the act better.
I like that.
I'm glad you like it.
I'm just now hearing about this.
Because here we go. Circus of the Stars opens up, as you might think, in the Big Top. Now, 1988 is filmed in Universal Studios, Florida. And
No.
Do I have that reversed?
No, neither of them are. They're both Hollywood.
Sure
You're
about
frozen.
that?
Yeah, because it says Universal. Because I was
You made
very,
sure? Okay.
because I live here. Or, I
Yes.
live right next to it. So I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, oh no, it says Universal Studios tour. And which is very specific to Hollywood.
Got it. Okay. Perhaps they were just plugging the fact that there was a Florida park in one of them, and I took it to heart.
Maybe.
Okay, so these are both filmed in glorious California, which makes way more sense because I was wondering how they got all of these actors down to Florida to do this for a month. Okay, so we're in glamorous Hollywood.
And this is the 13th annual. 13th. So in 1988 is the 13th time that this has happened.
Yes, and 1990 is the 15th episode, obviously.
Yeah, 2 years later.
And they couldn't. I like how they only got to 19. They couldn't get that finish line to 20.
Must have been a real blow to the. Who's the group that did this? I saw it at the end of the thing.
To the which circus you mean?
No, the company who produced this show.
Oh, but yeah, Circus Co. I don't know who made this.
Something like that. Yeah.
So we have the set of the always garish and unpleasant circus, including one thing that goes unchanging for almost all of these, because I've watched several of these. There are always massive statues of very realistic clowns. Like if you made a clown grow to 8 times its size and then froze it.
These are Halloween clowns, by the way. These are like the clowns you'd find at Spirit Halloween stores.
Yeah, they're not quite
They're
like
terrifying.
Twizzy ICP style. It's the fact that they're in the background, so they're always in the shadows, and they're it's like the poltergeist clown at all times.
Yes.
I guess we as America hadn't quite learned that there are no popular clowns that are not from horror anymore.
I was trying to think if they do this kind of show today, where they take stars from all of the network, all of the same. These are all the shows on the same network, right? Whatever this airs.
For the most part, yeah.
So, and I think really the only place you see it is on like Nickelodeon or Disney, where they are getting their kids stars together to do some show or something.
Well, Nathan, I think let's put a pin in that. I think that is a great way to wrap up the show, is not only to determine a winner, but how we are going to reboot this concept to work in today's multi-screen, quad demographic viewership.
I love it.
You ready for the first matchup? 1988, our ringmasters are from Laugh-In and Fernwood Tonight and Mr. Mom, it's Martin Mull. And from Golden...
Roseanne.
Well, not yet. Not in 1988,
Not
he
yet.
wasn't.
That's true.
And then from Golden Girls, B. Arthur. So it is Martin Mull and B. Arthur.
A great pairing.
And then in 1990, we have Richard Crenna, who was in a lot of things, but nothing around this time. He was in the first 3 Rambo movies. He's in a show called The Real McCoys that was a big hit a million years before this aired. I never saw it. So he's just kind of a guy who does TV. Robert Urich, Robert Urich, who was the star of Vegas, and that's Vegas with a $, which had not been a show for many years. And
What was his? Would you say is the most known thing
Vegas.
that he has done?
Vegas.
So through not to this point, but all of history.
Vegas.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. Okay, just wanted to clear it up.
And then Whoopi Goldberg,
Yes.
who I am assuming was contractually obligated to do this before Ghost came out, because Ghost is released in 1990 and it is the most popular movie of the year.
Yeah.
So right, like she didn't have to do this, or she owed somebody a big favor.
Are we rating which hosts did it better?
Let's talk Mull and Arthur first.
Okay.
You have Martin Mull and B. Arthur, who I found out had just actually done a episode of Golden Girls together. I don't know if that's how that happened, but
Okay.
Martin Mull, B. Arthur, not two people who you think of when you think of big, gregarious, friendly personalities. Like they are known for being smarmy cranks. And that's exactly how they sound. B. Arthur, every time, she has my problem, which is she has resting bitch voice at all times. So when B. Arthur says something, she always sounds like, wow, what a performance. I can't believe it.
I don't know how you have this set up, so stop me if but there is a moment in the end of it where her and Martin are taking off. They're leaving the show in a hot air balloon contraption. It's some kind of fake hot air balloon. And this thing starts shaking. And she looks terrified. Like, she's like, what is this? What is this? And it cut away so fast. But her face is like, oh.
You don't think it was I actually did not glom onto that moment. It does not look like acting. It looks a little too real.
No, because the thing is shaking, and she's just looking down like, is this it? How many seasons of Golden Girls have happened?
We have
88.
It ran until 1992.
Did it start in 88?
No, it's been running for a minute.
Okay.
Is that part of your judgment for her performance?
Yeah, I
How
just
deep
want to see
into-
where she is in her career, and in this. I know she's an old favorite. I just mean
She's I mean, as well known as she's ever going to. I mean, she was on a hit show. She was on Maude, which was a giant hit, and she was on Golden Girls, which was another huge hit. And then we have Richard Crenna, Robert Urich, and Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi,
Okay,
go for it.
Who is the girl, by the way? There's also a woman as well on that episode with blonde hair who introduces a lot of stuff too. Along with Crenna.
Oh.
She's paired with him.
Yes. She's not in the beginning, but she does show up a lot.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'm going to look up who that is. Talk about the other three.
I think that of the two groups, Whoopi's my favorite. I feel like she's acting natural, like she's enjoying the show. Like they cut to her for facial expressions, and they're kind of like what I felt like I related with her in this. I thought she did the best, but the other three are just so boring and dry. I don't know. Whoopi sells it for me, so I'm choosing Whoopi over everyone. So I guess I have to go with the 90s crew.
There really is something so apparent, not only with looking between Arthur and by the way, Martin Mull and B. Arthur did hosting gigs all the time. So it's not like they weren't prepared for it, but you really see the art of reading these terrible, stilted scripts
Yeah.
And Whoopi Goldberg makes it look effortless. I also think that she had enough star power to request to rewrite some stuff because all the other co-hosts have to say really corny jokes and she doesn't. And when she's talking about something like the trapeze, she's saying, they're high up. I mean, they're really up there. I can't believe how high they are. I'm going, well, that's not written. That's just how she talks. So I think to a certain point, she refused to give in to the tomfoolery.
Yeah, she's doing it as if you would do it. You know, if you weren't just reading from a teleprompter.
Yeah. The other person who does some of the hosting is Joan Van Ark, who was on Knots Landing. Okay. And she's really bad.
Yeah. I mean, if Whoopi Goldberg wasn't in this bunch, they would have lost by a mile.
True. Okay, so we got 1 point to 1990.
What grade were you in 1990, by the way?
I don't know what grade I was in, but I was 10 years old.
I was in 7th grade.
Okay.
7th grade.
By the way, I'm sorry for farting right into the microphone before I said that.
I thought it was weird that you lifted up.
I turned around and gave a big tootie directly into the Golden Ox mic.
It's cool. They're paid for.
Okay.
All right, we're moving on. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, listeners. We'll take this long with every single one of these. Yeah. We have the acrobats, people flipping all over the place. Now, our first group from 1988 are on kind of a teeter-totter, and that is Brian Austin Green from Knots Landing and later from Beverly Hills 90210. Yes.
But he was just Brian Green.
That's very true. He was just Brian Green at those. That's how we knew him. Daryl Bell from A Different World and Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 3. And by the way, that's how the announcer announces him or announces her. Here she is from Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 3. And then from 1990... we have Jocelyn Peden from Class of Beverly Hills, which is later going to be called Beverly Hills 90210. Wendy Cox from The New Lassie. And Mark Paul Gosselaar, kind of. So let's talk 1988 acrobats. Brian Green, Daryl Bell, and Heather Langenkamp. And their little flippity-doo performance.
So, okay, this stuff is scary. Okay. These, these ones aren't as scary because there's all kinds of like netting, but also I feel like they're not doing too much stuff, but they are really doing this. Like, this isn't some gimmicky thing where they're giving them like lesser things than you would a professional circus person. I mean, obviously there probably are like really big circus jumps and things like that, but they're doing the same stuff you would see at a circus. So like, I honestly can't believe that they're letting their stars do this stuff because there's so many opportunities for them to be hurt or be killed in some of these things.
Nathan, whoever created Circus of the Stars is hearing you say this and they are shouting, "That's what I told the network. That's how I sold this thing. I said every person in America will have little stars in their eyes and be at half-mast watching these stars risk life and limb. Ratings, I said. Ratings. Oh, my heart." Yeah, they're flipping around. That's why these acrobats are all under the age of 21 because you are young and obviously like they vetted these performers beforehand to say like, how limber are you? Do you obviously all these kids had some sort of gymnastics training beforehand because they're doing a good job. They can land, professionally. They can do cartwheels and all this stuff from the go.
So this is why you think that Cousin Larry from Perfect Strangers wasn't on this. And instead it's Bronson Pinchot and the girl.
I'd love to see Bronson Pinchot being thrown around. Apparently he's on one of these Circus of the Stars, but I didn't see it.
Hold on, you were frozen there.
Oh,
Hello.
well,
You'd love to see Bronson Pinchot.
I'd love to see him on he's apparently on one of the Circus of the Stars episodes, but I did not see that episode.
Yeah, he was shown in a kind of a montage of past ones in the next one because it's it's an anniversary episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wish, as a Saved by the Bell fan, I am bummed that Mark.
We're talking 88. We're talking 88. What do we think of 88?
Oh, I thought we were comparing. I've completely just lost the thread of what's happening. All right, so we're talking 88.
Yes.
I love Ron from from different world. Yeah,
Daryl has a solid look in this one. Those glasses that are strapped to his, those fogged up Dahmer style glasses.
Yes. I liked Brian Green's little dance he does. He comes in with his little popping moves, I feel like he's showing off for Ron. Like he's like, look, I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys on this.
Speaking of pop, did you notice when he walked out, that was the biggest pop from the crowd? You heard every teen girl scream when he came out.
What was he on?
Knots
At
Landing.
this time? Knots Landing. Okay.
So he was apparently like Tiger Beat fodder even then.
Yeah. Yeah. I really liked, and I'm trying to remember, they did all of the jumping on top of each other.
They were on the teeter-totter. Yeah, there was a couple of things where they jumped on each other's shoulders. This is the one where you go, hop, hop, and then you jump around.
So they're on one end of the teeter-totter, and then someone jumps on the other side and flips them. Okay.
Yes.
And what I thought was cool was, as part of all of this being fun and exciting to watch, I think, is that Brian Green makes a mistake and he resets and then does it again. So it's not like this wasn't like, I felt like this really is the circus happening.
You were standing up in your home going, "This is circus! This is circus!"
I know, I kept yelling at Meredith and screaming that. And she's just like, I don't have an opinion on circus.
Brian Green, I didn't realize because when he messes up, they do a little shtick where Heather hands him a hula hoop to jump through, and I think he's giving it a look like, and he goes, "Oh, great!" Like he's doing an act and pretending to do a take, and then he messes up, and then they reset it, and then they do the same shtick again. I'm like, Brian, you don't have to do the same funny bit again. Like,
this is how he preps himself.
Maybe so. You think that's how he gets in the zone?
If he does not do that, then he will miss his mark.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to question his. All right. So,
I like that they show, by the way, my favorite parts of the whole thing is when they show them practicing.
Well, that's the only part that feels very visceral. One thing about the circus that you realize watching this is there are certain things that look impressive, and there are other things that only really look impressive if you're seeing it in real life.
Yeah.
Like an elephant.
Or someone dressed as an elephant.
Yeah, well, don't tip that too quick. Should we talk next group?
Yes.
All right. Jocelyn Peden, who is in... So, Beverly Hills 90210, originally for its pilot episode was called Class of Beverly Hills. Then it was retooled, partially recast, and retitled. Jocelyn Peden is in that one episode. So this poor star was getting these are her 1-2 shots, and then she is out of there. Yep. Wendy Cox was on a show called The New Lassie, which apparently ran for a while. And then she did nothing else. Well, it's not quite true. Recently, she wrote a book called Totally Desperate Mom, Keeping It Real in the Motherhood. So she's keeping busy. And then tragically, there are only 2 performers because the third performer is on the seats watching his teammates because he got injured. Just like you said. Mark Paul Gosselaar couldn't make it to the final. He got injured apparently the day before shooting.
So bummed.
And they are on a big, I guess it's called a Russian swing, which looks like a board on a swing set, and you can swing yourself all the way around with the momentum of your body. I think it is a much more exciting thing to watch than the teeter-totter performance.
Yeah. And I think also this is also the same swings they had in communist era playgrounds.
But at least you get to see Mark Paul swinging himself around on the swing. Looks like he's doing a good job.
Yeah, when they show the behind the scenes, yeah. I was.
You were heartbroken.
You know,
I knew you'd be
devastated.
sobbing. Yes,
devastated. Yeah, you know, I do agree. Them jumping like that is more interesting to swing, but I don't know. I think I enjoyed the other three better.
Wow.
I think I liked them jumping on top of each other. I really like that move where they're all three of them are on top of each other and then they fall forward and land in three. I enjoyed this first one better, I think.
Nathan, I think you've swung my vote. Because it is better seeing them land on each other than just landing in a big sheet, which is what they're doing in the other one. Which I know it's hard. I know it's a skill. It is also like just seeing somebody fling themselves in the air and land in a sheet. It's hard for me to determine if you're doing it well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give that to 88.
The thing you're supposed to be, I think the thing you're supposed to be wowed by is the move they do in the air, which is the twist.
Exactly.
And the truth is, I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, but the coolest thing that which may have swung my vote, would have been when
very good,
yeah.
Very good.
When they show them practicing, Mark Paul Gosselaar actually spins all the way around.
Yeah, he was clearly the best performer of them.
Yeah,
and the first time it's ever been said about Mark Paul Gosselaar. Did you hear that sick burn I just gave?
That was pretty heated. I would have loved to see him do that if he was going to actually do that, or if they were just having fun. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
all right. Let's.
I only pray he healed up.
Okay, so that's 1 point for 88. Or what?
We're neck and neck. It's anybody's game. Anybody's game.
Right.
All right, let's move on to those big cats. Big cats.
Oh my gosh. This. Go on.
Which could also be. Well, big cats could also be called cats don't want to do this.
Torture. Cat torture. Tiger torture.
We have tigers. So we have 88. We have Don Diamont, who was on The Young and the Restless. And then we have David Soul, who was on Starsky and Hutch. And they are the big cat, quote, trainer. They didn't train these animals. They just learned how to have two sticks and scream at cats. And
whip the ground. The first one is like, of the two, I kind of flipped through the second one. It's hard for me to watch them yell at these cats.
We should say there are certain segments on this show where you're watching it for the length of the act. There are other segments where they are just stretching it out. And I think that they feel like these big cats are way more interesting to watch than they are, because these segments are long.
And it's just like the first segment, he's whipping the ground. He's like he's almost dying a few times. The
tiger does grab him at one point. Yeah.
and the whoever it is, Martin Mull or whoever is narrating it says like he has these two sticks and he's using these sticks to like kind of jab him like, hey, do this thing I want you to do. And he goes, if those cats want to, those sticks would be like toothpicks to them.
Yeah.
And there's one part where the cat like I don't know, are they declawed? Like, cause he like jabs him with his arm.
No, they're not declawed.
Okay, well the cat bats him in the head in one of these things. Mm-hmm. This to me, I was like, this is like if I was the showrunner for whatever show these people were on, I would have been like, you guys are crazy. What are you doing? You're going to kill my stars.
Obviously, well, they have at least 3 other guys right beside him at all times. Did you notice that? Like the actual trainers are there. I think if anything got too hairy, they would run in and I don't know, tranquilize the cat or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, this really seems to be. I was trying to figure out how they cast this show, and it seems to be reliant on who would children like to see and who would moms like to see, because they seem to be getting like soap hunks and teenagers for a lot of these acts. So Don, obviously, he's a soap hunk. His Wikipedia. So Don Diamont was actually born Donald Feinberg.
Oh boy.
And then it states the reason he changed his name is because the other one was more melodic, which that's a nice way to say it. And he has been on between his roles on The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful, which he's still on. He's done over 3,000 episodes combined.
Holy moly.
This
is a guy who's just like when I had jobs at like Pizza Hut or whatever, and there'd be like,
I can't
just
wait to see how this ties together. Yeah.
There's just a really old guy who like washes dishes. But he's been there for 30 years, and you're like, what else are you gonna do?
It's 1-to-1.
It's either you're washing dishes at a Pizza Hut in Cleveland, or you're on a soap for 3,000 episodes,
or you're named one of the sexiest men in the world by People Magazine.
Yeah, it's the same. You're an old Russian man washing dishes named Donald Feinberg.
And then David Soul, of course, not only starred in Starsky and Hutch as either of those characters, don't ask me which one, but he also had a #1 single, Don't Give Up on Us, which I listened to today, and it's, I don't know. I can't.
#1?
Yeah, it's #1 in my book. I could not tell if you would like it or not. You'd either like it or you would say, why do you think I would like that? He also...
I probably would like it then.
There was also a TV show of the movie Casablanca.
Ooh.
In the early 80s, and David Soul played the Humphrey Bogart role.
Oh my gosh. Listen, I stick up for the 80s way too much. And that is drawing a line for me.
So who did a better job of making these cats do something they clearly don't? The only animal that wants to do anything is dogs, right? That's the only trainable animal that looks like it wants to do the act, right?
Well, it's definitely not a wild jungle cat.
No, these cats hate it.
Like the lion, like the lion is like roaring. Like you don't like you go to the zoo.
I watched it. You don't have to sell me.
You go to the zoo. And the lions just lay there because it knows it's not being told to jump through a fiery hoop. But this thing's roaring at them and like looking at the cameraman and licking his chops. Like these cats are ready to freaking go.
Yeah, it's almost like doing this kind of archaic entertainment doesn't really have a place anymore, as we're not entertained by the idea of dominating an animal until it grudgingly does what we want.
It climbs up onto a stool.
Yeah, right. That's the big thrill, is climbing onto a stool.
That's like we like that's what we do. Like we're humans. Like we finally figure out like how to have dominion over a monstrous jungle cat, and what we do with it is have it stand on a stool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I watched the first one in full, so maybe it's not fair, but I think the second one there was less like goading of the animal. There was less like torturing of the animal, so maybe I'm going to go with the second one.
I'm going to give it to Don because maybe he is in real life, but he seems like a less smarmy oily actor than David Soul. David Soul just strikes me as a grade A creep.
I don't know. I don't know. They both look like they just smell like BO.
Well,
Like
Don
oily.
looks like he smells like whatever body oil he is wearing.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just got waxed and polished.
They look like small wrestlers. They do, like WWF wrestlers.
Yeah,
for sure.
I guess. I mean, David Soul has that kind of 70s handsome look where I kind of have to take the show's word on it that that's a handsome person, because every handsome guy in the 70s looks like they could work at a delicatessen. Like just a real walnut style face. So
Yeah,
let's see. I'm giving it to
they
88.
all look like that one bully in the 80s with the blonde hair, the big muscular guy and a curly blonde hair. That guy was in all of them, all of the high school movies.
Send me a picture. I don't know who you're talking about. I want to see this
I will
person.
everyone send me your email and I will send you a picture of him.
So we're giving it to 88. Giving it to Don.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
All
Let's do it.
right. The best.
It's only fair. I watched his whole set.
The best worst act. Oof. Although maybe I spoke too soon, because even though the next act doesn't involve cats being tortured, the person who's being tortured is us, the audience, because we're talking about
Nice.
the escape act. It's Gordon Thompson from Dynasty versus Robert Urich. This is a little unfair, but here's the deal. 88, Gordon Thompson is in the flash flood zone in the Universal Studios tour, which looks
yeah.
like it is a town with a flash flood that goes through it. So there's like a carved out riverbed, and it looks like a tree is getting knocked over. But there's, what is it?
I mean, that's that's got to be the tour, right?
Oh, it's the tour. Yeah. Oh, they say
Yeah.
it is. Like the tram goes
Yeah.
by. This is how a flood is created in a Hollywood movie. And they put 3,000 gallons of water go through it.
Right.
And then Robert Urich has little thumb handcuffs,
Well, that's right.
and Whoopi Goldberg puts a handkerchief over his hands, and he gets out of them. And Gordon Thompson, first we see a dummy in a chair in the middle of this flash flood area, and they send the flash flood through, and the dummy gets knocked over with the water because it's a dummy. And then Gordon Thompson sits in a chair, and the stagehands run up, and they tie him with that very soft, very slippable nylon rope.
Oh my gosh, that rope!
Like
it was
silk rope.
It was like they just threw it at him, and they're like, "You're tied." Like that's what it was like. It's like there's like there was no question in my mind that he was getting out of this thing.
Yeah, because he has to get out of it before the flash flood hits. Am I being a dum-dum and saying I don't think the water would do anything but knock him over a little bit if it hit him?
course.
Like, it's
Of
not like it's
course.
such a flash flood, it's going to break his neck if the water hits him, right?
No, it's like the wave at the end. It's like the wave closest to the beach.
Okay.
Like, you know, when you fall or you like fall down, then you try to get up, and
Yeah,
then
okay.
it knocks you over again.
Yeah, right.
Like that's what it would have been like.
But this guy does some real fart faces when he's trying to struggle his way from these ropes. He is schmacking it up to the heavens.
Yeah. Who was it again?
Gordon Thompson,
What does he do?
Dynasty.
Dynasty,
I've
okay.
never seen an episode of Dynasty. I mean, I know it was enormous, but I just don't know that show.
I think I watched, the opening with when my dad was watching it or something. But
Sure.
those prime time soaps.
I'm going to give it to Gordon Thompson just because the Robert Urich thing is so nothing.
I don't know. I is it a thing? I mean, is escape even happening with Urich?
No, it's a magic trick, but it's set up
Yeah.
as. But so is escaping from rope. Technically,
Yeah.
that goes under magic trick escape. And I will say this:
Yeah.
at least you get to see a part of the Universal Studios tour that no longer is in operation. So you get to see that '80s Universal
Is the tour still going on though?
tour's still going on.
In Hollywood?
Yeah. But now that zone is probably like the Fast and the Furious zone or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to show you how we have a water tank, because they don't use a water tank 90% of the time. It's just CGI water.
That's true. Okay, I'll give it to Thompson. I don't care.
Okay, good attitude. Next up, the Trapeze, another one that they feel as though we could watch forever. It's Deborah Trinelli from Dallas, Rebecca Arthur from Perfect Strangers, and Steve Burton from Out of This World and Days of Our Lives versus Shane Butterworth from the Bad News Bears TV series, theoretically from Saved by the Bell, Davy Shoden from the Uncle Buck TV series, and John Buchanan from something called The Family Man. So let's talk 88, the Trapeze.
No, okay. Now the Trapeze, this is exciting.
You like
These
this?
are exciting to me.
Okay.
I do. I mean, they have a net, so that's safe. But they're doing these. I mean, I think they even say that one of the moves like no one's ever done before.
Well, they say that it is new to the world of trapeze, meaning like it's a new style. It's not the first time it's ever been done was by these amateurs, but yeah,
but
I mean, it's a skill, and obviously they are extremely physically fit because this is extremely physical work. And they, on one of them, I think it is the 90, they show the blisters that form on your hands from doing trapeze, and it looks like your hands have been ripped apart.
I saw that and I was like, okay, if you're not telling me that this is going to happen beforehand, then I'm joining in to do this. But if you tell me that I'm going to get that kind of blisters on my hands, then I'm saying I want to do the escape act.
Oh, this is when your agent comes to you for which one you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to do the, pie in the face of a dog act or something. I don't want blisters on my hands like that.
Rebecca Arthur, we're going to see her again. Rebecca Arthur is in a lot of the Circus of the Stars, so I think she probably had some previous training. I mean, like you said, there's not a lot to talk about here because it's not like banter. You have to be pretty focused, and it's trapeze. It's counting. It's physical. So they just kind of happens. But let's talk about. Oh, one thing I want to say is that guy Steve Burton, who was on apparently the Alien sitcom Out of This World and Days of Our Lives. He also is still on General Hospital. He also has cleared over 3,000 episodes of soap operas, and he is a voice of I forget which character. He's in Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. So, Steve Burton is doing just fine in terms of his residual checks.
Gosh, 3,000 episodes. Do you think that they get? Do they do reruns of like on other networks and stuff?
Not on other networks, but they
operas?
will sometimes rerun them. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they can't run the actors every day of the year.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So these two were kind of really the same act, right?
Yes. This is where we're going. Okay. There are certain moves that you can teach people their first time out, and it's just kind of how well they can execute it.
Yeah.
Because our next group, Shane Butterworth, who had been in a Bad News Bears TV series 10 years before, and then has announced that he is on Saved by the Bell.
Yes. But how much research did you do? Because I could not find
as much as I could.
I couldn't find any information about him being on the show except a photo where he is standing to the right of the cast of Saved by the Bell for like a company softball league.
Yeah, it's very strange.
He's wearing the Saved by the Bell shirt like he's on their team, but they're like, look, just stand over there. You're not actually part of the cast. So why is there no talk about this on the internet?
You're really upset. What's the first year of Saved by the Bell? What's the first year it was on?
Was it 87 or something?
Wow. So
89?
way before 90? Okay.
It was definitely 80 something, like late 80, so 1989. Okay, so it hadn't aired yet. So obviously he was going to be on the show, but who and what?
So I will say to the listener who, if you're as upset as Nathan, as upset as I knew he would be,
I'm furious
with this dangling bit of Saved by the Bell trivia. I did join IMDb Pro for the sole purpose of finding and emailing Shane Butterworth's agent. Even though he has not worked in years, he still has an agent rep, asking her or for her to pass the question along to Shane Butterworth. What is his connection to Saved by the Bell?
Is he not on social media or anything?
I couldn't track him down, but I will try hopping back on later. Don't do it right now. I can see your eyes glazing over and those fingers warming up. David Choden didn't really do anything other than Uncle Buck, and John Buchanan, who was on this thing called The Family Man. I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? Not John Buchanan, who's just played like a kid, but the Family Man, the lead of the Family Man, is Gregory Harrison, who looked very familiar to me because he played the second person that Karen Black as Julie is going to kill in Trilogy of Terror. It all ties together. So which group do we like better?
I like a running thread through our episodes.
Yeah.
Now, Davi Choden, okay. You said Uncle Buck.
DAH-VE. Davi Choden.
And is Uncle Buck, is it Uncle Buck the movie or the TV show?
TV show.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to give it to the first group because I don't like this business with Shane Butterworth being told that he's on Saved by the Bell.
So you don't like a possible internet revelation that we have uncovered and we might get famous because of. You don't like this new information?
I'm happy to get famous because of this information, but it still makes me mad because I'm like, who is Shane Butterworth? Why is he trying to ride the coattails of Mark Paul Gosselaar, who didn't even get a chance?
So you think that Shane Butterworth walked in there and he walked up to the announcer and goes, "Can you just say I'm on Saved by the Bell?"
Yes.
Because the other guy's not performing. Just say I'm on there.
Look, I've got a photo. Look.
From the charity baseball game. Okay, I'm going to vote 90. Producer Jeremy.
Okay.
88 or 90. Which one are you voting?
I'm going to go 88.
Ugh.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, Butters.
All right. Next act, The Tightrope. It's Matthew Lawrence from something called Duets. Deborah Renard from Dallas. Christine Hodge from Head of the Class. Versus Victoria Rowell from The Young and the Restless. Lisa Rinna from Valerie. And Tony Cario from Doctor.
Yes.
You said yes, like you can't wait to get into The Tightrope.
I loved The Tightrope. I thought to myself,
you need to go see the circus. You love it.
I would have loved to have been able to learn this skill.
You can still do it. Now, you're in Florida, which is still the home of the Ringling School of Circus in Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah, but didn't they shut down or something? I don't know.
Well, the Ringling Circus shut down, but I think the school is still going strong.
So they're still teaching all the stuff that they won't do anymore?
Yeah. I mean, if you can charge other people to go out and do it themselves, why not? And you're not on the road anymore, so you can teach it year round. Okay,
well, now that this pandemic is definitely finished, I'm gonna go take I'm gonna go to clown school, tightrope school. Okay.
Yeah.
To me, there is a clear winner. By the way.
Oh, I like this. All right. So, do you want to get into 88?
I'm saying 90.
Sure, but okay. So do a compare and contrast.
Okay. The reason why is because in 88, they're just doing the tightrope, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, am I getting this one right? Let me think.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're just doing the tightrope, and then in the second one,
what is 92?
90, they're doing bits and stuff, right?
I think are you thinking of the baskets thing? Baskets is 88.
Hold on.
Baskets.
What is the one where they're like the one guy's pretending to they're, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
You're thinking of Matthew Lawrence saying, I can do this. You mean like he's juggling and he has the baskets on his feet?
Okay. I guess I guess 88. Okay, 88 is the one for me.
So what Nathan was so delighted by, I found absolutely interminable, which is Matthew Lawrence, who was on the notorious 1980 to 81 SNL season. That was his big break. Yeah. And then I think he had like a little run of sort of being a hot shot and then was quickly reduced down to Circus of the Stars and whatever this duets show was. But he's doing all these funny bits where he says, I'm going to juggle on the tightrope, and he just stays on the platform and juggles. And he goes, I can do this tightrope act any way you want. And then the other two girls go, put these baskets on your feet. And he goes, oh, baskets. Oh, brother, baskets. I was really asking for it. Baskets. Oh, man. I've heard a lot of crazy things, but baskets on my feet? Pooh, baskets. If you think I'm exaggerating, go watch it, because this guy is mugging to the heavens. Other one, so there's nothing remarkable about the other one, but I do like their team spirit.
I just feel like I agree. I'm not thinking that this is some high level comedy act or something. I'm just saying it was.
Then why did you call it that? You literally said this. You said put your thinking caps on everyone.
I just think that it just felt like there was more personality in it, even if it was bad personality. And it just felt like it was more interesting to watch than just someone do the thing that they're going to do.
Oh, so suddenly it's not so impressive to Nathan. He needs them to yuck it up at the same time. Well, I'm going to give it to 90 because I found their pre-interview charming. They looked really excited. And also, all of them are still working actors. Raul has been on. So Victoria Raul, these soap actors, Nathan, if you decide to act again, get on a soap. Because Victoria was on The Young and the Restless from 1990 to 2007.
Jeez.
And Lisa Rinna was on Days of Our Lives, and now she's a Real Housewife, and she seems like a terrible human, but maybe not. I don't watch The Real Housewives. She might be great. What?
Real Housewife. Also, Daryl Bell, right? Daryl Bell.
Yeah.
He was a house husband.
No.
On one of these shows.
No.
Yes.
It all ties together.
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm still going to give it to 90. Producer Jeremy, 88 or 90?
88.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Moving on to the elephants. We have Anita Morris, who was basically a stage actor. She was in Jesus Christ Superstar and won a Tony Award for a musical called Nine, versus Morgan Brittany, who was on Dallas.
So they announce Anita as being from Ruthless, right?
She was in Ruthless People, yeah.
Everyone in the audience, I feel like for some reason they cut to the audience and there's these three guys and they're just looking at each other and just clapping really hard. There's yes, I love Ruthless.
There are some fantastic audience
people,
reaction
Ruthless
shots.
people.
Yeah.
Ruthless People, I mean.
So the elephants.
Which have you ever watched Ruthless People?
Yeah, it's funny. I like Bette Midler and Danny DeVito.
I have no reference for it except that Weird Al did Toothless People.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
parody of the theme song. That's literally the only thing I know about that movie, and I recognize her.
But you've also never heard Smells Like Teen Spirit. You've only heard Smells Like Nirvana. See, I told you.
Yeah, that's the song.
You gotta
That is the song.
Take a look at the liner notes of Weird Al. I think you'd really be into some of this music.
No,
the
that's
elephants.
That's his own only original.
Oh boy,
That's his
the
only
elephants.
original.
I don't quite get what the act is, because the elephants, you just get on the elephant, and then the elephant, you just walk around with the elephant, and sometimes you get down from the elephant, and the elephant grabs you with its trunk. That's the act.
Yeah. I mean, I in my mind, I mean, okay. So what 90 has going for it is more elephants.
That's true. Instead of one,
Right.
you have at least 5, including
Right.
a tiny one.
But what 88 has going for it
Yeah.
is the elephant puts the girl in his mouth.
And almost sits on Anita.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the way she's reacting is I liked more than Morgan Brittany.
She is doing olive oil level reaction
Yes,
to the terror.
I enjoyed that more. It made me want to go watch Ruthless People.
Also, how did you like the elephant's toenails being painted in the 88?
I loved it. I loved
Okay.
it. Pink,
Now-
pink elephant toenail.
I know both of us hate tangents on this podcast. We say barrel through it. That's our keyword. But I was looking up the Wikipedias for all these performers, and sometimes you look at a performer, and if you look at enough of them, you can smell that it is maintained by the person themselves, right? Oh, Nathan is
Right.
really yawning. He couldn't find it more boring. Well, I think it's interesting. Morgan Brittany clearly maintains this herself. Now, I looked at her IMDb, and it was pretty sparse after her years on Dallas. So I went, okay, is she just bored, or is there something more going on here? And by the way, I am totally validated in believing this is maintained by her, because for a person who basically only appeared on Dallas as her acting career, she has 4 paragraphs under early child career where she talks about her uncredited roles in TV shows. Okay, so more paragraphs just talking about her appearing in toothpaste commercials and then Dallas. And I'm going, okay, is this leading up? This feels like it's leading up to something now. And then we get down to personal life. As of 2014, Brittany is a conservative political commentator and author. She writes a weekly column for WorldNet Daily. She is a reoccurring guest on Hannity, The Rick Amato Show, Fox and Friends, The Dennis Miller Show, Huckabee.
Boy.
She is also a co-owner and anchor on Politichicks, a online news site with a conservative perspective.
So I'm not one to believe necessarily in the blacklist for conservatives in Hollywood.
Sure.
But that's what happened here, right? That's totally what happened here, right?
Maybe she crossed someone. I don't know. Okay, who are we voting for now? Anita? It sounds like you're going Anita.
Anita.
Okay.
88 all the way, baby.
Okay, I'll do the same. I'll do 88. All right, coming to the end of our shared acts. I know the audience is saying, please let there be more. Aerials, which is where you are strapped to a thing and throwing yourself around. We have Kathy Rigby from the stage.
This is the scariest.
Hold on. Hold on. I know you're terrified. Let me get through the names. Kathy Rigby,
I gotta
who is
do this.
a Olympic medaler, and currently she was in the live production of Peter Pan, versus returning Rebecca Arthur from Perfect Strangers. Okay, talk about how scary this is.
Sorry, I know there's a formula for how each one of these segments is introduced.
Well, it's
but
a
I
formula
break it every time.
for the audience just being able to hear what I'm saying.
I always feel like there's just enough pause that I'm not catching.
That is true.
figuring out.
I do need to take a breath. Okay, it's terrifying. Nathan, why is this so terrifying?
Okay, they are doing this without net, okay? And they're basically just crawling on tiny poles. And every once in a while they are strapped, like on their foot or their hand or something. But they're just like, this is scary. This is too scary. These aren't people who do this for a living.
Well, Kathy Rigby is.
She's not doing that.
No, but she is a gymnast that you can seriously.
I know,
hurt.
but they don't do gymnasts from the ceiling.
Well, no, but I mean, if she's done aerials, I mean, it's these people seem to certainly know what they are doing. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I think you have a definite thing about heights. It sounds like.
Well, it is. Every time I watch, my hands are sweating. Every single time I'm watching these people. I
do have a sweaty-handed moment in this, but it wasn't from this.
Oh, really?
No, yeah. You know, the other thing that actually
that outfit from Rebecca Arthur is just a couple of look like Swiss cheese.
I think one thing that actually would help this is if they did it during the day or with brighter light, because you're just seeing them perform in a void. And so you can't register how high up they are, which is like half the act.
Yeah.
I realize you don't want to look like a fly speck on the TV screen. I'm going to vote 88 because Kathy Rigby, I was reading about her life. She won gold and silver medals in the Olympics when she was barely out of her teens. And then she had what happens to a lot of Olympic performers, which is, what do I do with my life now? Because the Olympics are done. So she started acting and became a Tony Award-winning actor.
Oh, wow.
Then she beat her bulimia, and she now tours and counsels women specifically about eating issues. So she's a great person. And Rebecca Arthur is probably some jerk. Huh?
Which one was on the spider web looking one?
That's Kathy Rigby.
Okay. I'll give you this one. I think I liked Rebecca better, but
wow. Okay.
I like a good story as well. So
sure. All right, our last shared category. Okay,
this one's a doozy.
It's magic, and the 88 has a lot of magic. Some would say too much. Our magicians are O.J. Simpson from the world of the news. Harvey Korman from Carol Burnett.
From Court TV.
And Mary Hart from Entertainment Tonight. Christopher Hewitt from Mr. Belvedere. John Biner from Soap. And Emma Sams from Dallas. Yes, that's all in the 88. And then 90, we have Ann Gillian from It's a Living.
It's a Living.
All right. So magic. Let's talk OJ.
You know, OJ. you know what? He's. I can see why he had a nice little acting career. I mean, he probably threatened everyone into his roles, but you know, he plays the part. The one thing I don't like about whenever athletes are doing something is like whoever's writing for them, like all the jokes are just like names of other athletes that they would have played against.
Yeah.
And they don't make any sense. That there's like no, like at one point he's like, he has a bird and he's like, this is my bird, Joe Montana. Or is it Mrs. Montana? Or something. It doesn't even make, there's no joke to it. It's just, oh, I'm naming a football guy.
I think the joke is that he's supposed to be checking out the gender of the dove, but OJ does not do a great job of selling that joke.
Yeah.
Did you notice that whenever they are about to go to commercials, the announcer says, and coming up, OJ Simpson does time.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I thought that that's what was said, but here's what they say. They say, so-and-so is tying ropes and OJ Simpson or something is rope tied and OJ Simpson is tying because he does that thing where he ties the handkerchiefs together.
Is that what he said? O.J. Simpson is tying?
Yes, they say tying, whatever it is. Like he does tying or something like that. Like
He does
I listened to it a few
tying.
times. Yeah,
Wow. I really thought he said he does time.
that's what I thought too, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But no, it's tying because that doesn't make sense otherwise.
By the way, if you're wondering what O.J. Simpson does for these magic acts are literally what you do for a child's birthday party because it's just store-bought magic trick. I don't expect that these celebrities are going to learn some elaborate act in a week. But with OJ, he does a trick with a handkerchief where the handkerchiefs are like tied together differently. And then he makes a dove appear. And he does some patter.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's hindsight, but it's also very easy to see the psychotic part of OJ's personality in the way that he speaks. Where he's a little too much. Okay. All right, sweetheart. Okay. All right. Good. Huh? And of course, as B. Arthur sets him up, the all-around wonderful O.J. Simpson.
I mean, he was probably great friends with her. I feel like they like that was one thing about him that he was just like he just hung out with like white people all the time. Like
Sure.
In that movie about the trial, they're gonna go to OJ's house and they like take all the white stuff out of there and put a bunch of like African statues and stuff in there.
Yeah. Harvey Korman and Mary Hart do the trick where you stick a woman in a box and you twist her head around.
Why is it on all of these, and there are more of these in all of these, it's always an old gross guy and then a young pretty woman, and the gross guy's making disgusting jokes up to like this is like every segment is like that. Do we
have to keep the patter in from a magic act where it's two younger people? Do we have to make this gross lecherous old man character? Christopher Hewitt. He does. What does he do? He does the who? Christopher Hewitt.
He comes out dressed like the guy playing Dracula at a stage show at a theme park. But what is his act?
His act is he has a box, and first it looks like the box empty, and then he takes like a cane and scarves and other things that can be easily collapsed out of a box. And then he takes a rabbit out of the box, but it's a stuffed rabbit. Like it's that kind of stuffed animal that is like Mylar, that really thin Mylar that you can squish down into a tiny ball. Yeah. I know I'm looking at this as an adult, but if you're putting this on television, it's going to look chintzy. And also Christopher Hewitt is not getting laughs doing this. Like you can hear the audience is too well mic'd for this. They should have goosed this up more. You hear the silence. By the way,
then what does Biner and Sams do?
Well, I would like to report that Christopher Hewitt, according to Wikipedia, is a lifelong bachelor and member of the Catholic Church. John Biner is from...
Okay. I think we know what what that's code for.
John Biner was a stand-up comedian impressionist, and he was on Soap, and he was on like he was on Johnny Carson and stuff like that constantly. And Emma Sams was on Dallas, and they do a hypnotism / levitating woman act. But again, you were saying, it is a very old man talking to a beautiful young woman and acting like he wants to get on her. And then hypnotizes her, which is also not great. Not a great look. Emma Sams, unbelievably beautiful woman. I've never seen Dallas either. I saw her and was like, this woman looks like a simulation of a person. I cannot believe this is a real person. And Versus, so it's all of that versus Anne Gillian, who was a child star. And she was on like Gypsy and stuff like that. And then she was on a show called It's a Living about a bunch of single working gals, which I don't remember. And then she had her own talk show at the same time called The Anne Gillian Show. And she's talking to a person in a elephant costume. And then the elephant walks behind a curtain, and then they drop the curtain, and it's a full-size elephant, which is not incredibly impressive when it's on television.
Oh my gosh. There's way too much magic in 1988, and it's all bad and not fun and not funny. But this sucked so bad.
Talk about it.
I was livid watching this horrible performance.
Okay.
This outfit that this person is wearing as an elephant, it looks like a ratty old like Chuck E. Cheese character.
It looks like a busted version, if you remember the Elephant Show on Nickelodeon.
No.
It looks like that elephant.
The
You don't
Elephant
remember that?
Show?
Yeah, the Elephant Show.
How do I not remember that? I remember everything.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad. It's just not good. And so I'm giving this to 88. No question.
Well, also, I will say Anne Gillian does a dance with the elephant, and it is one of those really embarrassing things because, not to sound ageist, but when an old person is behaving is supposed to be acting like a child, like an old person acts like a little boy or little girl and dances, it's always creepy.
It is. And everyone's clapping after her moves.
You wanted them to cut to the audience booing?
Like, it's just stupid. I hate this.
Well, I'm giving it to 88 simply because we get to see O.J. Simpson in that tuxedo and that winning smile.
Before we move on to the last part, the standalone, like, are we going to talk at all about the stuff that's part of the show, but is not like,
absolutely.
Like, for instance, are we talking about the circus rap?
Yeah, we are. Go for it.
So, I just have the line that just says in all caps, "Oh no, a rap." And it's like, so all the characters are doing, like, all of the actors are doing a rap about how they have to wrap their hands.
Mm-hmm.
So that they don't get blisters, which didn't work, obviously, for some of them. And it's just a rap song about this, and they call it the circus rap.
And it is that 80s style of we're going to do a rap where it's ba ba ma ba 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 na ba ba da na da 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 na da.
The circus rap. We wrap our hands to not get blisters. It's like that. It's so stupid. Was there like a mandate that it was like some like network guy saw us and was like, "Where's the rap?" Is anyone else wondering where the rap is in this boardroom?
Am I alone here? Also, let's talk about, so if we watch the YouTube version, some sicko cut the commercials out of the 1990 version. But the 88.
Yes.
The 88, can we each talk about our favorite ad from the 88? You have one.
Well, I have one. Well, the Pringles is probably my real favorite. The Pringles commercial, because it features Brad Pitt.
Yeah, a young Brad Pitt chomping on Pringles.
Which is amazing. But yes, the Folgers switch is...
Explain what the Folgers switch is for anybody who did not live through it.
So what they would do is they would be at a fancy restaurant. Someone would order coffee, and then they would bring them a cup of coffee secretly using Folgers instead of whatever fancy pants.
Not just Folgers. Folgers crystals.
Yeah, Folgers Crystals, which was some kind of like freeze-dried coffee or something. Is that what that is? So basically, you put it in, and it would just melt away into coffee. Is that right?
Yeah, right.
Or does it still go through a filter? Okay.
No, it's
all
instant. It's instant coffee powder.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And they would bring it out, and then they would say, "By the way, just kidding. You're drinking this crappy stuff called you're drinking Folgers," and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I thought it tasted like my hoity-toity stuff." But what is so great? So that's the classic. Saturday Night Live did like a joke on this kind of commercial. It's a classic thing. Like you show something, and then the people are like, "Oh my gosh, I guess I do like this stuff in the store." But this is what's really great is you can order through this commercial. You can order a sample of the coffee because they want to make sure that you can taste. That you could also taste it, but also a brochure, which implies more than one page, showing you step by step how to do the Folger switch at home. So you can trick your friends too. But I don't understand. Yeah, go on.
Well, I don't see. First of all, in 1988, I bet all coffee was not great, even if you were at a decent restaurant. So I don't know how big of a switch. Also, I get that maybe they were trying to give the idea that instant coffee doesn't have to taste revolting. But if I order coffee at a restaurant and they say, we switched it out on you, I'm not going to have a reaction to that because it's going to be like, oh, okay, I don't come to this French restaurant to grab a coffee in the morning before work. I'll take your word on it.
Yeah. And I love the idea of doing it at home.
I love it too. You should do that to your family.
Yeah. And but they're like, it's a step by step. And I'm like, what? Like, how involved is this brochure? Is it just like step one, say it's the other one? Like, what is the other? What are the steps to this trick?
Step 2, smile. As your dumb sap drinks this instant coffee.
And, yeah, I know. I know. And then what if what is there like something in it that says like, here's what to do if they realize you've tricked them before you tell them?
I would like to take this moment. In the 88, they do it a little bit in 90, but they really laid on in 88. When they introduce at the top of the show all the performers, they have little superlatives that they introduce each member with. Like if I said, the amazing Nathan Shear. And they can never just say the same thing over and over again. So each actor or performer gets their own separate name. Here are some of them. The very popular, the delightful, the handsome, the energetic young, the bright and beautiful, the amusing, that dancing fool, the pretty, the beautiful, the mega beauty, a familiar face, the multi-talented, and one of the brightest stars.
And by the way, I mean, who's left today from all of the people on these shows?
As
like,
a performer?
Who really, truly? No, who would you still consider a star?
Whoopi Goldberg.
For sure.
Let me look.
I mean, Martin Mull's dead, right?
Did Martin Mull pass?
I don't remember. I don't know why I said why don't
kicked the guy into an early grave.
Why don't I know that for sure? But I'm like hanging out there. No, he's still alive. He's still straight. She is alive as the.
The missing in action Mark Paul Gosselaar's still a celebrity.
Okay, he's still good.
I mean, O.J. Simpson is still famous.
Yeah, Louis Anderson. I mean, not to that extent.
Yeah, and people know who Linda Blair is. People know who Richard Simmons is.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So
Richard
I would
Simmons.
say 10% of these acts are still.
Yeah.
Because let's get
Okay.
in to the standalone acts. Maybe we'll say if they are a 3-ring delight, or we should bring down the tent.
Throw them to the lions.
There we go. 1988 has not one, but 2 dog acts by Louis Anderson and Marsha Warfield from Night Court.
Yeah.
Now, when
Yep.
Martin Mull
And
introduces Louis Anderson, and I assume Louis signed off on this or possibly wrote it, but he has a whole introduction where he goes, this guy thought you could become an animal trainer by eating animal crackers. He's eaten so many animal crackers, he's the size of an animal himself. And he'll get out here, the very large Louis Anderson. This is like, can you believe how fat this guy is?
he says crunch and crackers. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, okay, so Louis Anderson comes out, and
Yeah.
this is my
It's
favorite
me.
music. This is my favorite music of the show, and I know it's a kind of music that you impersonate really well.
Oh, is it that? Like,
Yes. It's the fat guy doing something music.
that's
Yeah.
right, because they turn off the weird, keyboard demo button music that's been playing for the rest of these specials. And they turn on the fat guy tuba. Hold on, let me look for my sheet music. Fat man on a toilet. There we go. Louis Anderson does an act with one dog, and he can't get anything right. And you hear, this is where you hear the most children. Like, this is totally a act for small children with the funny dog. It's getting the best of the performer.
Oh, no question.
And then Marsha Warfield comes out in a very dignified outfit where she's in big baggy pants and has a big comical flower. And she has dogs just running all over the place. It's hard to tell what the act is because these dogs are trained. They're just kind of going, okay, over here, over here, over here.
Yeah. They have him walking on like a tight wire and, which is a great callback.
Great callback. By
the way, this is Marsha Warfield's second appearance on the network special podcast.
Oh, what'd she do the first time? Do you know?
She was in our inaugural episode.
Wow.
Where she played the dean at the high school that the Save the Bell crew were hanging out at. Remember, she had those dogs.
Oh, you mean second appearance on Network Special, not on
Yeah.
Circus of the Stars. Okay, well, that makes more sense.
Yeah, no, our show, I put our show at a higher level in the pantheon of television history than Circus of the Stars.
Okay. Yeah. It's that kind of confidence you need to make a successful podcast.
That's right.
All right, do these acts rock or do they suck?
I am tempted to say throw them to the lions. But you know what? Dogs are cool, I guess.
I couldn't wait for these acts to end. Jeremy, up or down?
Sit or stay. I'm sorry, that was a bad attempt.
Is that oh, okay. I thought that was your vote. I was like, oh boy, do I not? No.
I'm gonna go with up. God. I don't even know what I voted for at this point.
You just said that the dog act rocked. Okay.
And the three ring, I forget what you said.
3-ring delight.
Yeah, 3-ring delight.
Okay, moving on. We have the tall swing thing with Alan Kaiser from Mama's Family. This was, to me, very scary. This guy is on a big pole that swings all the way around, and he's just grabbing onto it. There is no lock. You just grab onto it, and you don't let go. And he's, I would say, at least 3 stories up in the air on this thing. He does a handstand. And this guy seems like a bit of a tool personally, or at least he comes off that way. But it is a very impressive performance that you could never make me do.
This is the scariest thing of the show by far.
Yeah.
This is like sweat level 5
Yeah.
on the
Agreed.
hands.
Agreed.
Look, I don't know if you watched Mama's Family. My family all gathered around the TV.
Your family was a Mama's Family?
We were a Mama's Family and I always liked him. It was Bubba, I think he played.
Okay.
He always made me think of Martin
Lawrence?
Marty from
Feldman?
Back to the Future.
Oh, Michael J. Fox?
Michael J. Fox.
Marty from Back to the Future. Okay, are we both voting rocks on this?
I'm going 3 ring delight.
Me too.
for this.
Okay. Next, clown act with Tom Poston from Newhart, which was this supposed to make me sad? Because it really
know.
succeeded. This again is I realize that this is an act that already exists, that is for a clown that doesn't talk, where Tom Poston, who plays the handyman on Newhart, is very good, and I like him on Newhart, but he has this little stuffed bear on a wire, and he's pretending like the bear is doing a circus act, and more Louis Anderson music is playing, and then at the end, a very terrifying giant bear costume comes out, and it's controlling Tom Poston. I like the surreal touch at the end, but this again, I know this is some clown's act already, and they just taught it to Tom Poston, and the clown doesn't talk. You expect a clown sometimes not to talk. You don't expect an elderly man to just be mute, and so it's really unnerving. Not only the fact, but he's also an old man playing with a stuffed animal is just like, it's icky territory.
Throw it to the Bears.
Giving this a sucks. Okay.
Yeah, this is bad news.
And lastly, shooting with Krista Tessiru, who was on Guiding Light for a little while, and that's about it. And you can tell at one point she was a dancer because she flips around to beat the band. But mostly she is holding things on her head and in her mouth for a man with a crossbow to shoot apart.
Yeah, I liked this one. I thought when he goes blindfolded, I thought that was pretty cool touch.
Yeah, he puts a bag on his head and she just counts to 10 and he aims and he shoots a balloon off of where her head was.
And you can tell that this still scares her, no matter how much they
she does look stressed out, which is fair. Yeah. Now, calling her the star of this act is really stretching it, but the guy's an impressive shooter, so I'm giving this a rocks.
Can you imagine if they were like, we want you to be the person who shoots the arrow blindfolded?
All right. We are on hour 2 of this podcast. Don't worry. There's still more. 1990 standalone acts. We're in the home stretch here. Let's get through it. We have Glass Walking with Linda Blair, who is pretty much only known from The Exorcist, but at this point, she was promoting Repossessed, the satire movie with Leslie Nielsen playing the priest, and she is once again playing a demon-possessed woman. Linda Blair, a lot of mom energy coming out of Linda Blair.
Yeah.
She walks on glass barefoot, which for a time before the internet, when sweaty men couldn't just look up whatever their kink was, this must have really just done it for certain members of the audience. I don't understand how this is a interesting act. She takes off her shoes and she walks across glass.
I know. I'm not interested in physics. Like this is like it's not. I'm just not interested in the idea of using balancing your weight over something that hurts.
All right, we're giving it a sucks.
Yeah, this is
Giving
going
it a
to the
sucks.
Lions.
All right, next up, Tumbling Act with Marlon Archie from Major Dad and Lisa Marie Todd, who is a fly girl and in living color. And when this came up, I said to myself, "Oh, is this the entertainment portion of the evening?" Because this was great. They were so impressive. This is an act where I would say, yes, this is worth looking up on YouTube because they are doing an act where they are pretending to kick each other around. They're sliding on tables. They're falling over. They're landing almost on their necks. And it keeps going. Like, it's a long act. They are so good.
Yeah. Now, the thing of them just sliding on a table, like, it doesn't sound impressive because it is really, they're just tumbling over a table and stuff. But they're showing so much. They're having so much fun. They're playing, it looks like they're kind of playing like bratty brother and sister, and they're trying to one-up each other over and over again. And then there's two other people who are like the guys who train them are also taking part in the act, and they're playing along. And it's just, it's lots of fun.
I mean, I would say that the sliding across the table, they are launching themselves like rockets. It's not just sliding across the table. Have a little respect.
No, I don't mean it's just, but when you describe it, that's what it sounds like.
All right, we're giving this a rocks.
Oh, yeah, this is going all the way
Hall of Fame
to the main stage. Yeah.
Now, Bears with Dick Van Patten.
Oh, my gosh.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Dick Van Patten and Bears. Bears that don't want to do what he's asking them to.
This is, again, more like scare. Like, these bears are a second away from stripping him like a salmon.
You know, we just did the Trilogy of Terror episode, a little peek behind the curtain. We do two of these in a row. You were saying the word scared and terrified more times than you ever did for Trilogy of Terror. So you liked the Bears or you didn't like the Bears?
No, I've seen too many videos of people like, like trainers and stuff, like with their trained animals being ravaged by them. Like, I just... and I don't mean that lovingly.
Yeah. A little peek into Nathan's internet history.
I'm like, I don't want to see people with wild animals that can turn on a dime.
Okay, so is this rocks or sucks?
I'm sorry, I'm throwing you to the Bears, Dick.
Not good. Juggling with Bill Kirkenbauer, who was played a coach on both Growing Pains and Just the 10 of Us at the same time. He was also on Fernwood Tonight, and he was a stand-up comic. Apparently, I've never seen this gentleman before. Ugh. So there's two professional jugglers who are doing.
You've never seen him before?
No, I didn't know who he was.
This guy's like.
God. I don't watch Just the 10 of Us, Nathan. Life's too short. And I don't watch Life's Too Short either because life is too short. So Bill is the third wheel in this juggling act. There's these two professional jugglers doing their act, and Bill is like standing in between the juggling clubs and, ducking at certain points or whatever. This guy's really, maybe he's a funny guy, but oh boy, he was.
No, he's the classic dumb dad with a hot wife.
Yes, dumb dad. That is this guy's role. Dumb dad.
Yeah.
Rocks
but is
or
he
sucks?
The coach? He's the coach on both of them, but is he the coach from the one into the show? Like this shared universe?
It's not. It is a different coach. He was cast as a coach in both of these shows, and he has gone on to play at least two other coach roles. He just has that kind of coach energy.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I like him. I kind of like him. I don't like him in this. I don't know. I'm dropping this ball.
Is that a rocks or a sucks?
That was my sucks.
Okay.
I'm trying to make
no to juggling.
a reference to whatever it is happening.
Next up, falling. Will Schreiner, who was a stand-up comedian. He falls. He falls from a long distance into an air mat, and that is the whole thing. We cut back to the show, and he falls into an air mat, and then the announcer says, that was a dangerous fall, and it shows him training on how to fall, and that's it. It takes 2 seconds. Rocks or sucks?
Yeah. This is bullshit.
This is not an act.
This is crap.
All right. end of the line, we have now, Nathan. I've been trying to get through these because I know we're probably going a little bit long on this.
Yeah.
I got to take a minute for this because we got to plate spinning. Now, I know you have said we don't talk about these shows generally beforehand, but you did tell me that you remember seeing this. I have never seen this before. This was fantastic. This is the greatest moment in television history. This is Richard Simmons doing a plate spinning act, and Richard Simmons is a maniac, and it is the most.
He's on 10. He's on a 10 on this.
He is on above 10. They announce his name, and now Richard Simmons. I love plates. I love spinning plates. I named all these plates.
He's throwing plates into the audience.
Oh my God. He's so funny. He's so funny. And here's the thing. He starts this plate spinning act. He's not especially good at it. You can tell he barely rehearsed because he knows it doesn't matter. Plates are falling off of these sticks and he's just screaming at them and making the audience scream the number of the plate. And the audience sounds like they are about to tear the seats apart. They are having such a good time. And it's too short. It's so short.
He's got 7 sticks and he has to get them all spinning at the same time, and he starts at the first one, but then as he's getting to like further in, the first one's slowing down, so he has to go over there, and he's just back and forth. This scene is a memory that I have that pops up into my head just randomly throughout my life.
I can't blame your head.
There's nothing triggers it. It is just, oh yeah, plate spinning. What was that? And I always, I never remember who was doing the spinning.
Really?
For some reason, I don't remember that.
You've never seen a plate spinning act besides this?
No, I've seen plate spinning acts.
Okay.
I'm saying,
sorry.
I don't. When I remember this scene with, I can picture the red, I can picture the spinning things, I can picture the bowls falling. I don't remember that it's Richard Simmons, and now I will forever remember.
Okay.
But I couldn't remember if this was. I didn't remember that this was Circus of the Stars. I thought maybe it was Battle of the Network Stars. And in my mind, I'm picturing 2 people trying to spin plates, and whoever does it best wins.
Right. I mean, maybe it was. It sounds like a thing that you can easily give a celebrity to do.
Yeah, but this is great. We gotta definitely. This is going in the cabinet with the rest of my mom's china.
And that is all the standalone acts except for one, because all throughout the 1990, I believe it was the year before, they introduced a new running gag onto Circus of the Stars, which was the mystery clown. A clown would come out and do some clown act, like pouring milk in a newspaper that turned to confetti or something. And the audience had to guess who the celebrity was under the makeup, and whom would this clown be, except for America's teenager, Dick Clark, which I did not guess because I assumed Dick Clark would be too big of a celebrity to do a clown act on this show.
Yeah, and you know what? Sorry, Dickie. I hated this. I hated every segment. I like the premise that you have to guess. It's like the Mask show or whatever. But I hated it. I hated all the segments.
Dickie,
I hate clowns, I guess.
Dickie, you going away. You stink. Wow. And so just like that, it is by a landslide. 1988 is the winner of Circus of the Stars. I don't know if I would agree that overall it is a more amusing broadcast, but you know what? We don't always agree with every election. And that's what makes this, as we always say, the greatest country in the world. Oh, wow. What a night for the circus. What a night for entertainment. And what a day or night for you, the podcast listener. I mean, the treat that you have just gone through. Hey, are you listening this far? You must have liked what we were doing. No. I'm trying to do something here, Nathan. You must have liked what we were doing. So before we go to our
gonna do it
hilarious
too.
final
I was gonna
bit,
do it too.
well, I'm doing it first. Do you want to say it? Go for it. Go for it. What should people do if they liked what they're hearing?
Listen, if you like our show, you gotta give. You gotta help. You gotta help
God.
out.
It's going to go a little less
Sorry, reference.
groveling than this.
Listen, we
Making
need
it sound
your
like a
help.
sick child is on this show.
Apple just called me. They're threatening to pull the show.
Hold on, let me
please.
take a stab at it.
Yeah.
You guys, you know what to do. You know what the right thing is here.
What's that?
You're gonna go on the comment section. You give us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna say a few nice words.
Yeah, give us
Otherwise,
a review
We're coming for you.
on Apple Podcast. Give us a review on any of the podcasts that you do. Give us a review, like it, subscribe to it. You can go to our YouTube channel and you can stream our episodes there. You can subscribe there. You can hit the little bell thing so it sends you a notification. You can go on Twitter.
Everyone's
and find
turned
us.
this
You
off
can-
by now. Nobody listens to
Please,
this part.
You have to do this.
Nobody
You have to do
listens this far. Nobody listens to the
Yeah, but we're making it so much fun.
PBS pledge drive style where
Listen,
they
if you
win
do this,
nothing.
We will send you a mug
Okay.
with the Folgers switch.
And
Written
remember,
right on the side.
only 5-star reviews, nothing less. Remember, 3 rings, 5 stars.
Yes. And can I close out the show the way they did on the show Circus of the Stars?
I wish you would.
May all your days be circus days.
Bye.
Bye.